Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call to order the Town of Oak Ridge Planning and Zoning meeting, January 20th, 2026. Call to order, please.
Okay. Member Sutherland? Member DeBaptiste?
Present.
Member Siggety?
Here.
And Chair Ferber.
Here. The Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all. Kelly, I see we got Mr. Cleel's packet here. I assume he's coming today, or do you think?
He told me there was a chance that he may not,
Okay,
so I put it there just in case.
with the loss last night, yeah, we don't know, right? So I know, so we don't know what will happen, okay? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Gentlemen, any additions, deletions, modifications? Thank you, okay. I'd like to open the floor to public comment, please. No public, seeing no public comment, we'll close that. Minutes, December 16th, 2025. Have we reviewed it? Do we have any comments to it?
Mr. Chairman, yeah, no, I'm fine. I'll move, make a motion to approve.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay. Let's start out by the quasi judicial hearing for plan review 62 Harbor Drive North. This is continuation. Applicant, thank you for coming back in and making some changes. So we'll look those over. At this time, any ex parte communication should either be disclosed by identifying the subject of the communication and the identity of the person, group, or entity with whom the communication took place, or any correspondence be provided to the town clerk and made part of the public record. In addition, each member of the commission may identify the existence of any investigations or site visits he or she has conducted, or any expert opinions received, and disclose any conflict of interest on this matter. Anything, gentlemen? No.
No,
Okay.
no, sir.
Okay, thanks. Let's proceed with the the hearing. Kelly, please swear in anyone who would like to speak today.
Will anyone wishing to speak on this item, please stand and raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? When you are called forward, please state your name and address clearly for the record and whether or not you've been sworn in, and please speak directly into the microphone.
Thank you, Kelly. So, because there's been modifications here, I'd like to, maybe we should just emphasize those as we go through it. Corey, town planner.
Good morning, Chair, board members, Corey O'Gorman, Town Planner. This is a continuation, as you know, from the December 16th meeting to address site changes and drainage and try to address the comments in the staff report from the last meeting. There are revisions that are in your packet. A brief review, and my apologies, I hadn't had a chance to review the plans in detail. But it looks like the applicant has addressed most of the comments. The one that I noticed that I wasn't certain of, to be honest, I defer to them to give us a description of what it is the stairs along the north property line appear to still be in the setback, although they're indicating that they're non-structural stairs, and to be quite honest, I'm not sure if I understand what that means. So would defer to the applicant to go through and present to the board on the changes that were made to address comments and the conditions, and the staff does recommend approval subject to your review.
Great, thank you. So let's bring that up, make sure we think about that when we're.
Yes, sir.
Applicants up front. Thank you.
Thank you.
Town Engineer Tara, you had some comments last time around. What has been addressed on your?
I'm sorry, honestly, I'm not sure. I don't know if I've looked at the resubmittal. So.
Okay, well, there were some, I remember there were some drainage items, some I don't, going off recollection, right, guys? I mean, there were some
That was landscape.
landscaping,
Oh.
drainage, in the drainage area, so.
I'm sorry.
Conflicts of surveys and stuff.
Conflicts of service, yes, thank you.
I don't have that information on me. I'm sorry.
Okay, well,
It's like the applicant may have.
the
addressed it.
applicant, the January 9th letters talked about it, so we can certainly go through it from that perspective, but we should have this kind of buttoned up, guys, before we sit down together. Okay, and Manny, is he here today? Don't see him here today. Is he going to be here today, Kelly?
I've got a message into him to see if he is coming. I wasn't told that he was not coming.
Okay, thank you very much. Applicant, please come forward and talk to us about your January 9th letter from Stoft. How's Randy doing today?
He's good.
Okay,
Thank you for
good,
asking.
Good.
Good morning. My name is Carlos Linares with Randall Soft Architects. So we're here to address various comments that we had in the December meeting. There are a few minor tweaks to the site that we have addressed. And I'll start by itemizing them. One of them was
Does this follow your letter, your January 9th letter?
Yes, it does.
Following that?
Yeah, yeah, we could definitely follow the letter.
If we could go by that, that'd just give us a
Perfect.
roadmap for
We'll
this.
definitely do that.
Okay.
So one of them was the driveway. The driveway, like I had explained before, the design was previously approved, but I know that codes do change and the approval had expired. So we had received comments on the December, and so we've modified them. So item number one is the distance of the driveway from the property. I know that in cul-de-sacs that you are able to make that reduction. We are not asking for a reduction at this point, so we did make it happen. It does work with the driveway shifting for the property line. So that is item number one. Item number two talks about steps and terraces encroaching into the setback. So there was a set of stairs on the south side of the pool that were previously encroaching into the rear pool setback. We have relocated those to be able to clear that. The steps onto the north side of the property, what we are proposing is what is called a dry stack. I'm not sure whether you guys are familiar with a garden walls to where you're just laying block on top of block. They're more decorative. They have no foundation whatsoever. So that is what we're proposing. Obviously, we have a very drastic grade change. So we feel that we still need to have more of a transition between the rear and the existing grade. So we're not proposing any structure here. This is strictly a garden wall. And that is how we are proposing to transition from our backyard down to the existing grade.
Do you have an elevation of that by chance? your packet? Just so I visually can see what you're kind of.
So this is really not going to probably show the steps, but obviously the.
Is it that right there going to, is that where it is going to in the lower?
No, those are the steps that are further back, right up against the house.
Right.
Those are the steps that we're talking about. There's only about 4 steps that we're talking about that are beyond the setback. And those are the steps that I would like to talk about, that these are, like I said, They're not structural. They have no foundation. They have no mortar. What they are is they just stack up on top of each other. And we could submit prior to permitting what those details are.
Okay.
They're they're like a Tremron type of privacy garden walls. I'm sorry. 3 courses up. We're not really asking for much of a height. And all of that is basically all turf. It's all turf, it's all green. We're not, trying to extend the terrace out there. It's just a transition.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I mean, it sounds more a matter of semantics to me that
Okay.
the plan shows them as stairs, but it sounds to me like they're really not stairs. It's more as he's mentioning, a garden wall,
Okay.
retaining wall sort of thing. So I think if that can be shown on the permit set of plans, that should be fine.
I'm still curious where, just, can you?
Is that where the pool equipment
Yeah.
is? Is that the stair?
No,
Or
no,
the
no,
one
no,
to the right of that?
No, the pool equipment is a different set of
Could you,
stairs.
could you
that-
be specific where
Yeah,
we're looking at?
We'd like to look at it. please.
So, okay, if you could go to the site plan, please, I will point out the specific steps. They're just a little north of the spa. If you're able to see those,
Okay.
I'm not sure if you could point out to where the spa is.
I see the
Can you-
spa.
Okay, just a little north to that,
Oh,
left, well,
Yeah.
to my left, obviously. That's where the steps are, that we're talking about.
Right there, I see it right here, right? We're coming up the
Yeah,
side.
exactly,
Right next to it.
exactly.
Yeah, I got it.
And all it is, like I said, is just a garden wall. It's by no means any structure whatsoever.
Will the steps be used though?
The steps will have to be, yes, the steps can be used to transition down to the lower level.
So would they, when you say no foundation or something, you gotta make sure they're in
So,
footing to make sure that no one, they
so
don't
what
shift
what
it
I,
up.
yeah, so how these are installed, they're large pieces of stone that are on compacted soil, and they just sit on top of the soil. There is no foundation. They don't require foundation. It's just compacted soil right below that. There's a process that, again, we'll provide. And it's a specific system by like a Tremron. It's one of the most companies that you see out there. But we'll provide that in the permitting
Is
process.
the tread deeper? Is that the idea?
No, the treads are not deeper. They're 12-inch. Your typical stone slab is just like a stone slab that allows you to transition dirt from one grade to another.
Okay,
And that's the only purpose for that.
and are all these steps in the setback? Or-
There are 4 steps that are into the
Yeah,
setback.
okay,
Correct.
okay. Okay, let's go to the next one. Thank you.
Um,
Excuse me, any other questions on, we'll have time to talk about this, but just while he's up here.
The additional item was on the, I want to say the south elevation. The south elevation appeared to be a little bare. There was some missing, some additional windows that we introduced in order for us to be able to, obviously windows that are going to make sense for the floor plans. It's not just, just to throw articulations into the elevation. So we've added additional windows to this elevation. And this is what it's going to look like. We've added a couple windows up on the second floor. These are the master closets. They're upper windows to try to bring some natural light into the space. They're also down on the lower right-hand corner of the elevation. We introduced a couple of windows into an office that we have there as well. That also works well with the architecture and the floor plan. So that is the additional comments that we have done. Previously, we did address the calculation. So we were okay with the calculation previously, but obviously it was an additional comment for us to be able to add additional articulations to this elevation.
Yeah, I recall bringing this up at our last meeting, and I thought we'd see more than the two horizontal windows up at the top as a solution for that. There's nothing else that can be done to that exterior.
Well, again, this particular side it has a lot of utility use for that. So that is something that we're not able to find a lot of spaces to be able to have additional windows to that space. You know, like upstairs, we have utility, we have their closet, master bedroom, which is the bed wall. There isn't really uh, a great place for us to do additional windows. That it makes sense. Sure, we could definitely do some shutters, some, you know, but it doesn't really make sense architectural wise. You know, anything that is just cosmetic work to this
Any
wasn't really
banding?
making sense. I'm sorry.
Any banding that could be introduced?
Well, the architecture doesn't have a lot of profiles through this style home. So it doesn't have any bandings. You know, the interest of the architecture is the proportions, the window, the contrast, the materials. There isn't, you know, this architecture doesn't call out for bandings like this. Yeah, we could definitely look at
Corey,
more.
they meet the criteria, by the way. Is that correct?
Well, the window openings appear to meet the requirement, although there is the articulation requirement is if using a 8x16 rectangle, if you can put that somewhere on the wall and not touch a window or banding or some kind of articulation, then you don't comply with the requirement. And that elevation, although I think the lines are just dimension lines, so I think there is some large area that may not comply with that.
Okay, okay, thank you. Just so we understand technically where we are. with
Yes,
this.
sir.
Okay.
Would a spandrel glass window solve that in just its articulation? It doesn't have to be actual window.
Yeah, the code really provides some broad guidance, if you will, on what can be provided. Anything from a window to banding to actual articulation of the building to, I mean, things like score lines could be used just to break up that large mass. So it really is a broad sort of brush, if you will.
So technically, it's not, doesn't comply. And we talked about this last time, you know, to me, it still looks like a wall, right? So let's keep going because we will have time to comment about all this, guys.
Okay.
As we get going with it, but thank you for your explanation.
Next item is regarding the FAR. That is something that was going to discuss internally. So I won't touch on that subject. The additional items, it was more of a coordination of civil and landscape drawings that we have done as well. There was a comment that is not in here. I don't think that we discussed this, but I do remember engineering brought this up that flood elevation for this property had changed and they wanted us to illustrate that. So yes, we do. We do have it on the site plan. And I wanted to point out that we have done that and we are clearing the building with the dashed line represents the new flood elevation change. So to the left of that dashed line represents flood elevation 9. To the right of that is going to represent flood elevation 8. Our finished floor is at elevation 9. So we are complying with that. So that is something that we had also addressed that came up on the last meeting. We, like I said, landscape, civil, all of, both of those disciplines have coordinated with each other. Landscape architect is here as well, if there's any questions on that also. The the additional item was also pointing out what the seawall now to our understanding, the city requires this new seawall to be at no less than elevation 5, which we are noting on our site plan. So that proposed seawall also brings up the grade towards the west side of our property. I believe that covers all our notes. If there's any additional questions.
Yeah, I do. If we can go back to the elevations, I think it was front and right. Let me just see here.
Hey, excuse me, Mark,
Yes, sir.
can we do this? Can we go?
You wanna
through
wait?
and allow for public comment at this point, and then we
Okay.
can come back and discuss this
Yeah.
amongst the board? Can we do that, please?
Sure.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. I'd like to open up the floor to public comment, please. Seeing none, we'll close public comment. Okay. Board comment. Mark, thank you. Let's start with you.
Yeah, so on the front elevation and the right elevation, we discussed briefly how you were going to conceal the generator and air handlers, or excuse me, compressors for the home. And you may have done it, but I just don't know how you did it.
Okay, so we do have some equipment on the north side, which we have introduced a wall that is facing the street. That is one of the equipment sites that we are addressing that. Landscape.
How high is that wall?
That wall is to be 4 feet, 4 feet in height, which is the height of the compressors. Those compressors are going to be approximately 4 feet in height.
So it'd be the same size as the back wall that it's shown on the plan?
That is correct.
Okay.
That is
Thank you.
correct. On the south side, we have additional compressors also. And there we have the walls that have also increased to a 4-foot height wall along that whole entire side, which also is going to hide the pool equipment and the 3 condensing units there.
And that's the brown, maybe faux wood wall, is that?
There is a fence that is illustrated on the elevations.
Yeah.
And that fence is down lower. That is, so the walls that we're talking about, they're going to be CMU. If you could see the this particular elevation that is pulled up on the screen, the top elevation shows the wall that is going to be hiding those units. The elevation down below does not show a wall onto the side because that side is going to have landscape on which is going to be on the north side. So the walls are only going to be facing the rear of the house and the front of the house.
And then on the front elevation, if we go all the way to the left and we look at the fence, it looks like there's a piece of equipment there. You've got a wing wall, looks like on the left of it.
Which elevation? I'm sorry.
On the front elevation, let's go to the far left. You've got your fence, you've got a wall, but between the wall and the home, it looks like there's some equipment there. What is that?
On the right-hand side,
No,
on the left.
on the left. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so yes, the equipment right there, that is much further back. from the fence. And obviously, we have the landscape that is going to be providing on the front,
Okay, the landscape will be in front of the fence?
in front of the fence, towards the front property.
Okay, so how far off the fence? Give me an idea. Let me see, go to landscape plan. Well, we can get some land. You want to go over the landscape part of it? Okay, okay. Maybe we'll get there when the landscape,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
is that okay with you if we hear from the landscape architect?
Perfect.
On these
Yep.
items?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. Might as well, good with that. Let's dig into that because you've made some changes, right? Thank you very much.
Morning, Stephanie Portis with PLA Design Studio. Do you want me to walk you through kind of the way he did?
Yes. Why don't
As
you walk
far-
us through what the changes.
The
you made?
changes?
Stephanie, thank you.
If you could go to L2, please.
Yep.
The reason the majority of the drawing is highlighted is that previously we were only schematically showing a drain field. We're now showing the entire civil underground utilities that are being proposed, and we have those in red also, just so it could be clearly read. So all the landscape has been shifted, so there's no conflicts there. Other landscape changes are what you were mentioning about the utilities. So we've increased the podocarpus hedge. I believe previously it was 5 feet high, and we're now proposing the hedges to be at 10 feet at the time of install. That's mostly on the north side. The driveway also shifted, so we revised our landscape accordingly and added a tree, a green buttonwood that's 14 feet high over on that side as well to give a second layer from the street of blocking that view to look up that side yard. And then facing the house on the left-hand side, we've got a tree hedge running along that side,
Yep.
as well as that multi-trunk silver buttonwood that's going in at 14 feet high to help block that view. So we're pretty confident that the renderings that you're seeing don't show any landscape. But once we add all the landscape in, you won't be seeing any of the utilities from the street.
Or the adjoining property, we would hope.
Correct, and the
That's-
side yards.
Okay,
Mhm.
thank you.
I'm sorry, just so I can clarify. So the area that I was describing on that front elevation that we had up earlier on the left side of the house, those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trees in front of the fence, what are those? Are those the button ones?
Can you zoom in, please? So in front of the fence,
Yeah,
next adjacent to the stairs, right at the utilities, or
no, right in front of the fence, the 5 trees.
there's a line of trees that run parallel to the property line along that side. Those are,
Immediately to the right of the word sod and the stairs.
to the right of the word sod and the stairs.
You've got
Those
a-
are hedges that are up on the upper side. Is that what you?
Right next
Yeah.
to the spa. You've got that big tree next to that you've got over, that hangs over the top of the spa. I think that is talking about, right?
Yeah, I think he's towards the front of the house.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so,
See up here?
I think he's here.
Yeah, oh, that's, yeah.
yes, okay, so you've got all the big trees coming up from
There's,
on the front of the house from
Yeah.
right to left, and then they stop and they become smaller. What is that a hedge?
so there's, yeah, there's hedge there and
There's
then
5 plants there in front of the fence.
So I see what you're saying.
Actually, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of that species, whatever it is, to the left of all the big trees. Yes, right, where she's circling them. What are those? And what are they and how tall are they? Podocarpus, and what's it supposed to be at in terms of height? Okay, and then how high is the wall? Well, we see some equipment from that side. I'm just wondering if it's blocking that view from where someone might stand or drive. Or actually the side neighbor.
so if someone's standing at the lower,
Yeah,
that they're looking,
I
that they
just,
can see
yeah,
through.
just want to make sure it's screened.
So we have that 5-foot hedge running along the entire property line. And then we have the secondary layer of landscape.
How high is the fence? How high is the fence? Do you know?
I don't know. On the
Well, the
property line, I would assume it's a 4-foot
the
height.
fence, yeah, we're still talking about that fence and those hedges, that fence, please.
Uh,
On the left side of the front elevation. Okay, thank you.
Sorry, we didn't do the hardscape on this one.
That's all right.
Usually I would
No,
know
that's
that.
fine. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions here, gentlemen? For the landscape? Thank you. I think you did a nice
You're welcome.
job improving it.
Thanks.
Very much
Yeah.
so. Yes, absolutely. Okay, Mark, any other questions? from you?
No, just I want to understand, where will we leave this articulation item with regard to the left elevation, the west elevation? How does that work?
Mr. Chairman, it would at least need to meet the minimum code
Yes,
requirement,
of course.
which would be that 8 by 16 rectangle that I described. And if it doesn't touch some element of articulation, which can be a window, shutters, banding, score lines, that sort of thing, then it does not comply. So it would need to comply, and certainly anything above and beyond that would be at the discretion of the Planning and Zoning Board. And to be honest, I would ask the architect if he can tell us, because I didn't have a chance to review it before the meeting. It does not look like it complies, but that's just by taking a look at it on the screen. So
Yes. Does it in your,
I'm sorry. So,
does it in your opinion comply with the
I think that the,
requirement?
the 8 by 16 rectangular, would meet the criteria if those clear stories up on the, closets would just rotate. I think that's the biggest area that is blank. So, I mean, we would be able to rotate those windows in order for us to be able to, I think that's the biggest area that is blank, which is the second floor. So we could go ahead and do that. That's not a problem. Maintain those windows, and then we could go ahead and show that the 8 by 16 does clear within that. I think that would solve that problem.
And Mr. Chairman, from a code perspective, if that does comply, that would meet the staff's requirement for compliance with the code. Once again, anything above and beyond that would be at your discretion.
Okay.
And that'd be the same size window that you have to the right of those two horizontal windows?
Yes, that is
Okay.
correct. That is
I
correct.
think that look,
Yeah, I think that would fill in the blank wall up on the second floor.
great, thank you. That's all I have. Yeah.
Comments? Neil, any comments? No. Okay. Yes, thank you for clarifying that with us. We've got two, I'm just following your notes again, the steps and the setback. I think we all see what's being done here. I don't see there's too much harm in that, right? Excuse me. Darren? Yeah.
So looking at the
Yeah.
revised plan,
So,
Tara Bamber, town engineer. Looking at the revised plans, the landscape and civil there was no resubmitted civil plan. But the landscape seems to work. The pool, the finish, the FEMA flood line, they do show it, but they need to confirm that the pool is not going to be attached to the foundation of the house, because that's what, if it is, then everything needs to go up to 10, I guess. But
explain that to us, please.
so if the pool foundation is attached to the house foundation, this is structural, so it's not my forte.
Yeah.
But that, if anything were to happen, then the foundation needs to be as high, because if they're connected, then like, if the pool is not connected, they can drop off and not be a problem. But
Right.
if they're connected and there's a problem, then it's all at that one level. And then the FEMA flood zone, it takes into account, it's, like I said, it's structural, but I know that if they're not connected, then they're okay, but if they are, then everything needs to be raised.
Interesting. Corey, are you familiar with this at all?
No, sir, I'm not.
Okay, okay.
We've had this with other sites.
Huh,
They cannot be connected.
okay. So applicant, is it connected or not? Could you please answer the question?
So we never connect pools to houses. There are two separate loads. So engineering does not allow us to connect the pools and the home.
Good, so we're straight. Okay, thank you.
It's not really
Thank you.
described or really in detail.
Okay,
The seawall, I don't see anywhere where it says to bring it up to 5. And like I said, they didn't resubmit a civil plan, so I'm not really sure how they addressed that.
okay.
And then the setback, the stairs have nothing to do if it's structural or not. The setback is for impervious
Excuse me,
area.
first on that note, they said they updated site plan showing the new proposed seawall
Yeah, I don't.
at 5.
see it.
Is it up? Just please
If
confirm.
you could just scroll, I'm sorry, if you could just scroll to the left, where the seawall is, Kelly. There is a note that states that if you zoom in, we are proposing for this, seawall to be at the bare minimum of 5 feet. Right there. So that is just our note. Again, this is the bare minimum the Ocean Ridge requires. It could definitely go up a little bit more, but we are just stating that we are going to comply with the city of Ocean Ridge.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Okay, but my other concern is what are we doing with the rest of that lot? Are we just allowing it to be the earthen berm that it is right now? The rest of the water area? Or do we ask for a seawall? On Thompson, behind Thompson, it's just like a burden, like rock, rip rock.
This is on the north elevation.
Yeah.
It's a rock currently it's a rock, kind of rock. Well, applicant, what is your, how are you going to finish that off?
So the area to the north of us obviously belongs to the city. That is something that we could work with the city on what they would plan to do, because that riprap right there does not belong to our client. That is something that if, obviously we have to, by code, have to raise the seawall to a minimum of 5 feet. It would be a good idea if you know, that riprap could be raised as well, could be regraded. Obviously, that is not really up to us, but you know, that is definitely something that we could work with engineering on what is going
Okay.
to be the best solution for that. We're open to many suggestions. Anything that you do to this grade right there is going to obviously help for flooding, and as well as for grading down from the home down to that area.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that has been brought up, but that would.
No,
be-
we didn't bring it up the last time.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone we're not aware of that the city owns that piece. We know certainly they wanted we talked about the easement for drainage to take the water out of this
Yeah.
cul-de-sac, right? But we never talked about that the first time around,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, my concern is that it's low and for the house protection itself.
I see our good friend down at the end wants to talk to us for a second.
So there's an easement back there
Yes.
that's within the property line, and then that is undeveloped right away. That's directly behind their property. So originally, you know, I think we might have we were talking about maybe abandoning that because there's encroachments if you go further to the east along that undeveloped right of way. But there was recommendation from the town engineer not to abandon that undeveloped right of way. So that's what's back there. So it's not owned by the town. It's in the town's control as undeveloped right of way.
I assume it continues we're talking the western boundary here, continues east to
Correct.
some point beyond this lot, continuing east behind the other lot as well. How far back does it go? Does anyone know by
It
chance?
goes all the way.
It goes all the way to the, I believe, to the ocean. It's Old Thompson. I think it's Thompson.
Thompson
goes-
Street goes all the way
Oh,
to A1A.
I know that now.
goes
Okay.
over past.
Okay.
But the right of way, yeah, the right of way is all the way down.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Oh. Uh-huh. And we've just left it alone, right? In the
Mhm.
past, okay, and left and who is maintaining that, if I could ask?
I don't know how it's maintained. I don't, that I don't know. I think,
We know that it is used for drainage of the road
Right,
it's being used.
but do we have any idea how it's being maintained? Who, if that riprap was damaged, who would come in and fix it?
I would have to ask our public works director.
And how many houses are,
It was
On the-
it goes all the way down.
I know.
this figure, but
so that's behind every one of those houses.
but it's
on
probably
the-
more pronounced right here than
Yeah.
it is anywhere else, right?
correct.
All
And
right.
to the
Yeah.
north of that is a conservation area that's
Yes.
owned by
Yeah.
the county.
Yes.
So I didn't see that, no, now I just got up here. That would be something to talk about in the future, I guess. And the steps. So the steps have nothing to do with foundation. It's an impervious area that is not supposed to be in the 5-foot setback.
It's okay, we're okay with that then.
Well, no, I mean, it doesn't meet code.
Oh, it doesn't. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Okay, okay. Thank you, Tara. Appreciate that. Okay, gentlemen, what else we thinking here, right? And then we've got, of course, this, the proposed floor area was 41%, right? And that's kind of the trade-off for the easement, right?
Do we have the elevation of that right of way anywhere on any of the surveys? I didn't see it.
It's got to be on the site plan probably.
No, they don't show it.
There's a few elevations shown on the site plan, elevation 2.36, 2.21. You could also see it on the
Oh.
survey, but this information pretty much has the same information as the survey.
Oh.
Christian, today we don't have an easement agreement in place, do we?
It's being, they have signed it, the property owner has signed it and executed it. It's being held by the town until this is approved, if it is approved. Then what will happen is then the easement goes before the town commission to formally accept, and that closes out that issue.
Well, our last meeting, we talked about this as well, you know, what's going on here with these easements throughout the town. And it's creating a catch-22 for the town a little bit, right? We talked about that. And okay. I think we understand that as well. So we're really looking, if I can break it down, is the stairs, these are the 3 or 4 steps in the right of way, the wall, the elevation on the one wall, modifying that, and then the trade for the easement for the town for the 41% FAR. That's kind of the way I've broken it. Is that because I believe everything else has been, okay, checked off everything else, right? Does that sound right, gentlemen?
Yes.
Okay. Excuse me.
If I may.
Sure.
So obviously the steps, we've said that they're not non-structural, they're just
Yeah.
dry stack,
Yeah.
right? Depending on how we resolve this grading here, those may just go away. So that could be something that is pending engineering, relooking at what is going to happen with this grading here. That grading, once that seawall raises, this grading may want to be raised as well. Therefore, those steps just go away.
Okay, thank you.
And those steps are just going into the unimproved street, right?
That is correct.
So I don't see any issue with it.
Yeah, I'm not.
Would you like me to make a?
Go ahead,
motion?
go ahead, if you'd like to make a recommendation here.
Yeah, I make a motion to approve the project subject to modifications to the west elevation as described by the architect. Also adding the additional piece of wall, hiding the air compressors and the generator on the east elevation, and the temporary or the, what'd you call those steps? What'd you call the steps? Dry steps,
Dry
and
steps.
the dry steps as proposed.
And approving the 41% gross floor area ratio as well.
And approving the 41% FAR as well.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I do think, Tan, we need to review what's going on with that back area and who maintains that. And maybe that's a commissioner question too, right? I don't know, right? How that, have the commission ever really reviewed this and addressed it and come up with some solution, some ideas? Okay.
What's gonna happen to the dock when they put the new seawall in?
Well, there's going to be that piece in the corner over there where.
It's all part of it because the dock is under a separate lease agreement with the town. So.
To this homeowner.
To this homeowner. That was done a while ago. So that all needs to be looked at, but, the right of way has never been a maintenance issue that I'm aware of. So, but I'm sure it'll be a future conversation.
Sounds like. Okay, great. Okay. Let's continue on. The applicant's already gone. Okay, thank you. Quasi judicial hearing for site plan review 27 Sable Island Drive. Okay, great. At this time, any ex parte communication shall either be disclosed by identifying the subject of the communication and the identity of the person, group, or entity with whom the communication took place, or any correspondence be provided to the town clerk and made part of the public record. In addition, each member of the commission may identify the existence of any investigation or site visits he or she has conducted, or any expert opinions received, and disclose any conflicts of interest on this matter. Gentlemen? Anything?
None.
None.
Okay, none from my point. Thank you very much. Okay, Kelly, please swear in. Yeah, applicants.
Will anyone wishing to speak on this item, please stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? When you are called forward, please state your name and address clearly for the record and whether or not you've been sworn in, and please speak directly into the microphone.
Kelly, thank you. Corey, town planner.
Good morning, Chair, board members. Corey O'Gorman, Town Planner. This is the development plan review for a new home at 27 Sable Island Drive. The home is proposed to be two-story, approximately 3,754 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 3 baths, 1.5 bath, 2-car garage, swimming pool, spa, and covered patio. The application also includes what the code refers to as a special design exception for a portion of the roof to be at a 3 and 12 slope rather than the minimum of 4 and 12. And that's just a portion of the roof. And I'd ask the architect to point that out to you when that comes around in his presentation, just to be sure that you can see it and if you have any questions regarding that. But their code does allow a reduced roof slope down to 3 and 12 with a special design exception to be approved by planning and zoning. And those standards are outlined in the staff report as well.
Okay.
There are some conditions of approval, including the special design exception be approved by planning and zoning, that the Fireplace architectural feature is limited to 25 square feet in horizontal plane and is no more than three feet deep, measured from the 15-foot required building setback. And that's only a condition because it's not specified on the plan. However, this architectural feature appears to comply with the town's requirements. But just to play it safe, I'm including that as a condition.
Okay.
And that there was some inconsistency between some of the plans, and prior to building permitting, the site and landscape plan must be revised to be consistent and comply with applicable requirements for section 6444 regarding fences, walls, and hedges. Very minor issues, at least from my perspective. And recommendation is for approval, subject to review in accordance with development plan review requirements, and your consideration of the, as I mentioned, what the code refers to as a special design exception for the roof slope to be less than 4 and 12, and in this case, that minimum of 3 and 12. There are conditions of approval from the town engineer, and if you have no comments or questions for me, I would turn it over to Tara for her presentation.
Okay, is the, what we're gonna, also the fireplace architectural feature, right? That, you know,
Yes, sir.
is that, no more than 3 feet deep measured from the 15-foot required building setback? Can you talk to me about that just again, please?
Yeah, there's a, all principal structures are required in this case to meet a minimum 15-foot setback. There are permitted encroachments into that setback, including architectural features and chimneys, fireplaces. The architectural plan shows this as a fireplace architectural feature. It's not a full-blown fireplace, as it were, because there's no chimney that goes to the roof, but it is an architectural feature, and presumably provides some maybe gas fireplace or electric fireplace on the interior. It's not specified, but the code does permit exceptions to that 15-foot setback, but they're limited to a 3-foot encroachment from that 15 feet. So the maximum it could, or the minimum setback for that encroachment would be 12 feet from the property line, and the horizontal square footage of that encroachment can't be more than 25 square feet.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Sort of.
Kind of, sort of.
Okay.
Yeah, I get it. Okay, thank you for your explanation.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Great. Town engineer, Tara?
Yes, Tara Bamber, town engineer. So they have, it was approved, to go forward, because everything met the code. They do need to show the drainage calculations with the K value. The root barriers, I'm thinking this was what, Corey was describing, that there just needs to be some clarification that there's no conflict. The 5-foot easements, this is that same Sable Island Drive where the easements are in the back for the utilities. So they just need to have those letters that show their cable and FPL are not in those areas. And then the rest are typical comments.
As to those, real quick, is that where this is going to be put underground? The FPNL, right?
So I think the FPNL underground is going to be in the front, so I don't think it's pertaining to these.
Oh, it's not going to be bad through the back?
Well, we talked about this last
Front.
time with
Okay.
maybe Michelle, and it was all gonna be in the front.
Okay, good. So this become less of an issue going forward, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't, if there's still cable and I don't
Sure.
really know.
Whatever might be
Yeah.
there. I would hope they'd move it all, but who knows? Okay, great. Zoning official Manny, please.
Manny Palacio, zoning officer for the town of Ocean Ridge. My calculations for 27 Sable Island does confirm that the applicant's calculations and percentages do meet the required ordinances for this project.
Wonderful. Everything's in compliance?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Wonderful. Applicant, good morning, please.
Good morning. I'm Luis Rivera from Affinity Architects and presenting 27 Sable Island Drive. This is a two-story Mediterranean style home. Starting with the slope of the roof, the reason we did it at 3-on-12 is because most of the bulk of the massing of the house is on the left side, two-story area, and we didn't want to accentuate the height by having a steeper roof would make it look more massive in comparison to the right side of the home. And that's the reason we lowered it to keep it more compact and, you know, in accordance to the architecture. So on our next slide is the overall Google Earth view. The next slide has a picture of the adjacent neighbors, including the neighbor directly to the front, which is 22 Sable Island Drive. Our next slide has the streetscape of both adjacent homes on left and right side of the home. Next slide is the site plan with calculations, site requirements, setback requirements, sorry. Next, talking about the feature, our architectural feature on the left side of the great room that encroaches into the setback is only 2 foot into the encroaching into the setback, which is a foot less than the required or allowable. And then the square footage is only 15 square feet versus the allowable of 25 square feet. Our next slide shows the layout of the first floor, 2 bedrooms on the first floor, a great room to the left, and the garage to the right. Next slide is the second floor, where the primary bedroom or owner's bedroom with a loft on the second floor. Next slide shows the material selection and colors. Next slide. The next couple of slides is going to be just different views of the home from different angles, front, side, aerial view, rear view, and side elevations. And as you can see, all the equipment is properly landscaped and screened. Next slides are the 2D elevations, and here's where you can see better the reasoning behind the slope. If you see this 2-story area on the left is the tallest part of the house, and if we had added more roof, then it would look a little disproportional, and we wanted to keep that proper proportions of the rest with the rest of the areas on the right. Side elevations. And to talk about the landscape is my colleague, Louis Blahos. Majestic Views.
Good morning, Louis Blahos, landscape architect.
Good morning.
Majestic Views Landscape Architects. Just in general, just wanted to note that this parcel lot has been previously cleared, so there is no existing landscape. To add to this, we have a contiguous podocarpus 4-foot hedge that goes around the whole property area for additional screening. To the north is a 6-foot concrete wall partial to lot 36. And the rest of the area and into the gates, we have a 4-foot hedge plus the 4-foot aluminum fence required. That said, starting in the front, we as you looked at the elevation, it might have looked kind of stark. We do have some elements that kind of bring and work with the scale and the architecture. We have a couple of tall 16, 18-foot palms on either side of the entry where the tall windows were. And in addition to that, we also created these smaller retaining wall planters at 24 to 30 inches. So it kind of breaks down those steps that we have that, just prior to the entry. In addition to that, we also added as a streetscape planting for Ilex East Palaca hollies matched, just to kind of create a little street scene and then look beyond that to where the architecture is. So it's not as stark as it looked in the architectural elevations, which we're basically trying to show you the architecture. That said, per owner's request, we worked, she liked a lot of grasses and stuff, so we're introducing muhly grass and spartina grass here and here, some blue flag iris, and that in combination with alocasias, and then everything being brought together with smaller stuff like Podocarpus pringles, Carissa, and Ficus green island. Moving to the back, it was kind of a challenge because of overhead wires to the north and crossing over. So, and then also the utility easements. So basically, we use the right tree, right place requirements by FPNL and worked with Adonidia palms and also the small leaf clusia trees, which are permitted within the utility and underneath the power lines. And then again, in combination underneath that, just with the Podocarpus hedge, we have leafy stuff like alocasias, grasses like muhly grass and spartina, and then a combination of accents of yucca recurvifolias and agaves, and then low ground covers of liriope, Carissa, etc. I think it's a kind of a neat plan. Also, we use ligustrum trees on both sides of the property, kind of one set back towards the pool area, the other one in the front, that in addition to the 4-foot Podocarpus hedge at the fence line, also will provide additional screening from looking from the street to the back of the property or utilities, etc. Any questions? That's it.
Looks like you covered it pretty well. Thank you. Well, what is the finish for the architect? What's the finished floor elevation relative to what the lot is today? Just to get an idea of my own.
Right now is 10-foot NAVD. It's about
What is it today? Yeah.
today I believe is around 6 or 7. Yeah.
So, okay. So
Yeah.
6
So
or
we
7.
had to raise. That's why we have the steps on the front.
Okay.
Of
I'm just getting.
because we didn't because the lot is narrow.
Yes.
We didn't want to raise the grade and make the driveway steep. So we kept the grade as is, more or less, and then added the steps on the front
To step up to the house.
to step out the house. Yeah.
Okay. 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 There'll be a transition, of course, as you got into that. Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, great. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, unless you have any questions.
No, we'll come up, we'll have an opportunity to talk about that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your presentation. Okay, I'd like to open up to public comment, please.
Christine Hassett, 29 Sable Island. So I'm going to have some new neighbors finally. I'm in full support of it. I think the rendering and the new architecture being introduced onto our island, we don't really have anything Mediterranean revival looking. So I think it'll be fantastic. Concerned a little bit about the height, which you discussed, because on either side, there are original homes that are only 1 story, but that's to no fault of yours. We can thank FEMA. So anyways, full support. Love it.
Thank you very much. Any further public comment? Closing public comment. Okay. Board, what are we thinking?
I just have a couple quick questions. Is for water retention, I'm sorry, I can't figure this out quickly. Is retaining wall goes around the property? Is that when I see this dark line, concrete?
The only retaining walls that we have are the planters in front of the, on each side of the steps.
Oh,
We don't have any retaining walls. Everything is done landscape wise with some steps on the rear, and it just the grade would slope down
So-
to the lower areas.
yeah, so I'm just wondering what the difference in elevation is to the neighbor versus our 10-foot finished floor.
Like I said before, it's probably around 6 or 7, the existing around that area, but FEMA, requires to be a foot over the 9-foot.
Mark, these lots are actually already a little bit elevated. They're not at street level. They're already elevated. That's why I was trying to get, I walked by it this morning, trying to get in my mind, okay, how's it going? What's it gonna look like? Digby Bridges house back to the right corner, that's where the existing wall is, right? That there's gonna be a shared wall between you and that neighbor at this point.
Probably, yeah.
Yes.
And Tara, is the swale adequate to keep runoff from going to the lower elevation neighbors?
There is an existing wall in the back that's the neighbors, but
Mhm.
I do see a retaining wall on the north. And what appears to be a retaining wall on the south. The swale is adequate because it brings it to inlets they have an exfiltration trench. So, with the walls and the swales, I don't think there'll be a problem.
And my one other question is the elevation where the air conditioning compressors are located. How will those be screened?
Yes, those will be landscaped. In our rendering, we show our version of it, but Louis Blahos will have, he can talk about which plants are going to be there, but it's just going to be landscape.
Yeah,
And
can you describe that? I know the plant material and the height
The ACs,
that will screen the ACs from the neighbor.
On the
Yeah.
north elevation, I think, talked about, right?
on where the pool equipment is and
Yeah, no, not the pool equipment. There's 2 air compressors on a
on the
pad.
side there.
Yeah, with
Well,
electrical
we
connections.
have the hedge on the property line, okay? And there is a small retaining wall below it that the civil engineer has specified, and then the 4-foot hedge is on top of that. And we also have the hedge where the fence and gate is to the front, with the addition of underplantings of muhly grass and the ligustrum tree that I noted, which in addition will screen that additionally from the street. Okay, so the hedge is at 4 foot, which should be over and above the AC units. But there's also a note in our landscape plan that indicates that whatever hedge is installed would be above the top of the air conditioning unit, correct?
Okay.
So for whatever reason, if it's more, we are,
Do we know what the pad and then the height of the compressors are?
They usually don't exceed 4 feet.
In total?
The height, yeah. They would not.
Looks higher than that to me.
Oh, the pad, sorry,
The unit.
the pad is same as the finished floor. It's 10.
This, oh, okay, so it looks like they're sitting on a concrete pad
Correct.
and then,
And that is the finished floor level.
okay, so from the ground, how high is that?
That's about
3.5, 4 feet?
no, it's about 2, 3 feet maybe.
Okay, so 3 and then 4 for the air handlers?
About, yeah.
So that's 7 feet. So you can have at least 7 feet of plant material when you install that will screen that.
I'm making a note of it right now.
Okay.
When we do our final statements, I will indicate that those hedges that are used for screening be at 7 feet.
Okay, great.
Okay, with the only difference is on the north side, because we have a 6-foot wall, I don't think we're gonna need to do that. Well, I mean, we might as well do 6 foot down there
Yeah.
also, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just.
I
to
just
be
don't
consistent.
think it's fair to the
No,
neighbor to
no,
look
thank you,
out
that's
their
fine.
window and have
No.
to see those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we'll do 6 to 7 foot around each of, let's say, all the AC and pool
Okay.
equipment.
So it'll be 7 feet around.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
And
Thank you.
also screen from the road, where the fence is, so
right.
visibility is very good, very minor.
And like I indicated earlier, from the roadway visibility, we also have the ligustrum tree in addition to the holly tree in the front. So I don't think there's gonna be any visibility from the street side, you know. I would be more concerned from the
The neighbor. Yeah.
but on the neighbor, think we have a 2-foot retaining wall, then a 4-foot hedge, that's 6 feet right there. So when they're standing down looking up, it's even more.
Right.
The only way that they could see it is really from,
They're gonna be
And
looking,
now-
yeah,
and
they're gonna
now
be
we're-
looking from their finished floor elevation.
Yes.
Out, not the ground level, so.
correct,
Right,
correct.
so we, yeah,
Their finished floor elevation is at 7.5, 7.56.
2 feet.
So, yeah,
Good? Yes,
Yep, landscaping, yes.
good, okay, great. Other comments?
South elevation, does it comply that above the fireplace with that?
Yeah, we're going to add a faux window above that fireplace. Yeah, we had a window there originally, but
Or a chimney?
we could extend that chimney higher, but I think we'll just do a faux elevation, faux window, because we had a window there, the owner didn't want it.
Okay.
So because of the way it laid out, which I agree, it laid out in the bathroom. So we're just gonna add in the same location that it used to be,
Spandrel glass.
just a faux window, yeah.
And Mr. Chairman, if a condition could be added to your approval for that. I think that would be appropriate.
Okay.
that's great.
That was it?
Good
Any
idea.
comments? I just want to confirm with you one thing. And sometimes this is where the site plan, you know, it almost looks like a metal roof, but I see your roof material is a tile, a Eagle Laceport blend tile, right?
It's a Spanish style, yeah.
Okay, but you know, thank you very much. There's, listen, you're glad I asked. You brought it up, you know, right? So if I hadn't asked, you would have
Become prepared.
today, right? Okay, good. So because when you look at a lot of the plans, it looks like it's a metal roof, but I think that's very nice and thank you for that. I'm in support of the comments that everyone's made here today. I too think it's interesting to get a little bit different architecture in the world sometimes, so that's a good thing. And no further comments.
Nice.
Do I hear a motion?
I move to accept the application with the confirmation of the size of the landscaping and the addition of the window above the fireplace.
And you want to add the roof,
Yeah.
variance of a
variant to the roof.
3.12 to, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we got that. Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Congratulations. Look forward to having you. Very much so. Okay. Now the hard work starts, right? Christine, we're working us over. Jeez.
Depends.
Oh.
So the first issue we're going to talk about is the 3 non-conforming lots in the residential estate district.
Yes.
Did a little bit more research on these properties and they were all redeveloped in sort of the early 2000s, even before that, with variances. Since they're non-conforming in terms of width, they received different variances to allow them to develop to what they are today. So what we were originally looking at with them being, they're legal lots of record, meaning they're buildable.
Yep.
They're just grandfathered in because the width isn't the required width of the zoning district. So what we were looking at it was, do we need to grant them any sort of additional development waivers as we did up on Old Ocean so that they really are developable? Well, all of the variances that I cover in my memo for each of the 3 lots were the variances that were granted to give them the ability to develop what's there currently. Variances, unless conditioned by the board that grants them, in this case, the Board of Adjustment, run with the land. So all of these variances continue to exist. So if someone went in and tore out for each of these properties what was currently built, they could still build to the granted variances.
Rebuild.
Correct,
To the
correct.
exact variance.
To the exact same variance. Obviously, if they wanted further encroachments, they would have to go to the Board of Adjustment to get a variance. But this is what we're currently looking at. Now, what I did sort of at the end of my memo is say, here's our options. You know, one, create an ordinance that gives them further encroachments above and beyond what these variances do. You could look at other things besides what the variance granted, which were mainly encroachments into the setback, and look at FAR or lot coverage. You could take no action and wait to see if one of these lot owners comes forward with a proposed redevelopment to see what they say is going to be a hardship to develop on the non-conforming lot. And then if someone comes forward and says, hey, we want to further encroach, simply send them to the Board of Adjustment to get a variance if the Board of Adjustment grants it. There's probably.
That's only if they need, in addition to what's in place today, they want further variance.
Right, further encroachment
Further-
into the setback
yes.
and what they want to develop. I'm certain there's other options, but based on my research, they were able to develop what they are today. If they want to encroach further, it's up to this board if you want to go ahead and give them that further encroachment now without knowing where they want the encroachments. Let them come forward to the town with a proposed development to see what we're looking at. Or simply just tell them if you want further variance, go to the Board of Adjustment as your predecessor owners did.
What is the easement between the 2 northern lots?
It's a street.
Oh, that is the
That-
street.
that-
Oh, that is the street.
That's a
Yeah.
street.
That's again, undeveloped right away.
Shared driveway.
It's undeveloped, it's an undeveloped that's a right of way the town has, the town doesn't own the street. I rode my bike there a couple months ago, and that provides access, I think, to the neighbors across the street to the ocean, right? That's a little,
And there's stairs there? 'Cause
Yes,
that's pretty high.
yeah. I don't know how it was originally put in place. I have no idea. Public asset. I think it's public access. Because the third lot, to the southernmost lot, Neil, that one, they have direct access off of A1A.
Did the tribal house sell yet? The north one?
I don't know.
It's for sale.
One of our commissioners, I think, is the listing broker.
I think that's correct.
Yes. I'm not sure. I think you've shed more light on this than our previous conversation, because I had no idea that the variances had been granted or run with the deed or run with the title, basically, right? I didn't understand that. That's different. I'd like to table this if we could to do nothing today, but to look it over, think about it, and have an opportunity to talk further, if we could do that. Does that make sense to you guys, or would you like to take action
Is
on
there,
it today?
who brought it to us?
Well, I think it was Mr. Khalil was having a conversation about, looking at some of these
Yes.
non-conforming lots in town to see if we needed to address them like we did up on Old Ocean. And that's where this kind of evolved, because these are clearly the 3 non-conforming lots that remain in the RSC district. So
It's
I
not
think
a resident who brought this to us.
I'm not aware of a resident bringing it
And was
forward.
it the board that brought it to us by chance, or not, or the town commission, did they bring it to us?
I'm not sure.
Kelly, was this one of the things that the commissioners brought to us?
This was not, this was, I believe, just brought up by Mr.
Okay,
Khalil.
Okay.
Yeah, just as a comment, I think, I'm surprised that, that runs forever.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah.
I've just never seen.
And I think, you know, I think if we voted today, I'd say, okay, let's just say it is what it is today.
Yes.
No additional, if they want a variance, they can go to the Board of Adjustment, but not grant any further privilege beyond what they've already been able to receive over the years.
Yeah, Mark, as I said earlier, that we didn't know that when we
Yeah.
kind of talked about this briefly, the last meeting or the meeting before, I had no idea.
I thought in a storm, if that got
Yeah.
destroyed, they were, all bets were off, but, and I don't want it that way. I just think it's pretty, pretty fortunate because that doesn't happen that often, I
No.
don't think.
No. Okay,
Look at
Can
the
we-
before and after of the house
I know.
north of the three lots.
that's crazy, right?
It's amazing.
Yeah. It's a cool little area in there, right? So, and there's a lot that, especially the house in the middle with that separated garage, house, apartment, whatever it is. That's a really unique deal. I mean, right like that. There's a lot going on in that one little property there. Yeah, yeah. So table it, guys, is that okay?
Yes.
Table it, okay? And maybe we'd have Mr. Khalil here as well to talk about it. The tree ordinance,
Yes, Mr. Chair. So the town commission directed research and looking at the duty to trim coconut trees because what was happening was it had I believe a July 1 requirement that by July 1, everybody had to trim their coconut trees. So during hurricane season, we didn't have all these coconut flying around, a lot of dead fronds and things like that. And I think it was creative out of a concern about that's what was happening. Well, for the town, it became an enforcement issue because we would have to send out all these notices before that time frame to make sure if someone didn't do it, we'd then take them through, the code enforcement community standards process. So the discussion from the town commission was, why don't we just make it a general ordinance that you've always got to maintain your coconut trees? So what I've attempted to do here was to make it more of just a general ordinance, similar to what other cities have in terms of you got to keep your palm trees, coconut trees looking neat, orderly, and obviously trim them if they've got mature coconuts and dead or dying fronds. But one other thing that I did address since we were in this section of the code was historically the town has always required a tree permit if you're going to plant a new tree or trees at your property. And the primary reason for that is because of our septic fields to ensure there's not an encroachment. There's other reasons we have to look at where someone wants to plant new trees in terms of right-of-way encroachment, easement encroachment, and those types of things. So we wanted to make it very clear in the code that when you're going to install new trees, which the town, of course, encouraged, you still have to come to the town and get a tree permit just so that we can look to make sure you're not planting trees in the middle of your septic field.
so what do? Have to give a site plan? Like I had one of my coconut trees get hit by lightning. I had to pull it out, right? It's on the other side of the street from my head. It's not even touching anything. So I've got to get a site plan and have that site plan approved with the new coconut tree.
What usually happens if you have a tree, well, in your case, removed, you have to get a tree removal permit.
I'm sure we didn't do that.
I didn't
Okay.
hear anything. But normally, yes, with a tree planting.
There
it
is a
was-
single family exemption in Florida statute now, so you might have been fine without
You might have
having to
been,
get the
yeah.
permit if it truly was dead.
Don't they describe that here? B1?
There's a reference to the Florida statute.
Well, that there are exemptions, so if it's hit by lightning or other, but it has to be of a minimum or a maximum caliper or circumference,
Yeah, they're
right?
big.
So
Correct.
I think those are, you can go ahead and cut them down.
Correct.
You don't need a permit for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if you're going to put a new one in,
Now, if you put a new one in, it considers, it's almost similar to like a landscaping thing. You would have to get a permit. So you get a building permit, you have to get health department approval to make sure you're not planting in like the drain field. Or you're gonna affect any right of way.
And that's the current code.
That's currently what we do. Yes.
We just were clarifying it in the code because someone asked the question, and it's always been the town's position that we require a permit to put in a new tree or trees. So now we're just making sure it's clearly spelled out within the code.
Do we allow royal palms and,
Oh, we got a ton of them. Yeah.
I mean, my neighbors keeps, it's huge when those things fall.
Pods, yeah, they're dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my question is, so right now it's kind of an annual event. Right.
Right,
Gotta-
but it's
gotta-
supposed to be, we haven't really been enforcing it.
But yeah, so and the purpose is for safety during windstorm, right?
Mhm.
So this would mean that code enforcement would have to be out 365 days a year looking for coconuts, right? As opposed to July 1st.
Well,
To me, I think we ought to look at that aspect of it, the practicality of how you enforce that. Cause it's usually neighbors calling on other neighbors, but, I don't know, I don't know if we have the resources to do that, so
I like
wanna
your,
look at it.
you know, you're deleting some of your existing language. I do like some language that talked about making sure that they're really in the hurricane season, that, you know, periods of high winds and hurricanes, that they protect pedestrians and vehicle traffic, right? There should be some mention of that here still, don't you think, Christie?
yeah,
I like what you,
Um,
I like what
I
you
think-
did, but still making sure that there is a public safety, you know, matter here, because, yeah, you know, not everyone, you know, and by the way, you know, trim these things, it's not cheap anymore, right? It's gotten very costly to do all this work. And, but in the same sense, it's necessary. So my feeling is I'm good with the change, but I think still you should need some language in there relative to.
so,
Language in there relative to, hey, it's special, attention needs to be paid to this time of the year, right? And I'm not saying there's a quote code enforcement, just put, you know, on the general public, putting the responsibility on them to make sure, hey, guys, listen, we need to all be very conscious of what's going on here.
right, and we can, and I can certainly add language to that. I think with the town commission's directions, what I was trying to do is just make it more general and not have an element of going to code enforcement to prove that in fact these coconuts were a health and safety issue, that instead it's just a mature coconut, it's dead and dying fronds. And the way code enforcement works in this town, since we don't have a full-time dedicated person, our code enforcement also handles our zoning, so it's not a full-time dedicated position. The way it usually work is complaint driven, as you mentioned.
Yes.
But the other thing is, so when you go to a property that someone has complained about, then you look at the entirety of the property. So if it's not before hurricane season, now we have the ability to say, hey, you got to trim up your palms. They look horrible. So that was the thing I'm
Understand.
taking from the draft that I provided, but I'm happy to take any suggestions to change the language, add back in.
I'm just saying, I'd like to see a mention of it. Is this going to the commission? by the way?
Correct.
Okay, that's the only thing I'd like to, that's my only comment.
Okay.
Making the public fully, not putting them on the spot, but listen, we all have to be very conscious of that time of the year, right? I think
It's not aesthetics, it's safety.
It's safety, right? Exactly. And getting around. So when you have these crazy hurricanes, it's really not them too. It's the, you know, it's the, you know, there's a lot other than coconut trees. Yeah, they come down. But, there's many other trees that come down as well during these storms, right? That can't get around. It's craziness. Any other comments there?
Haven't
Yeah.
been here for.
Yeah, so Christie is, you mentioned,
You should come around for one.
and I agree that mature coconuts.
Yeah.
Is that referenced?
Mhm.
Yeah,
It is.
okay.
Yeah, it's actually in if you look to the actual ordinance, the underlying language is the language that's going to be added, and this strike through language is the language that's being deleted. It's at the very bottom of, might be on the other page. Is it on the?
Are the other palms genetically changed so they don't get coconuts, or there is just a palm that is a coconut palm?
I think there is one that doesn't have
Mine don't have
coconuts.
coconut.
No,
Well,
there's-
what are coconut blooms?
yeah,
So
there is
if you
one.
have
There's one that doesn't have coconuts.
trees with coconuts, they'll get the bloom sometimes, and it's like this,
Very.
spindly thing with like kind of big seed pods on it,
Yes.
and they create a real mess, like.
Yeah, it comes,
Yeah.
it's like,
births.
Yeah.
no births, yeah.
Right, is it, okay, so I'm just. How often does everybody get their trees trimmed, their coconuts,
Regularly.
like
Twice a year.
I don't have
twice a year?
Mine were kind enough to die for me, so.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
That's nice of it.
yeah. I mean, I don't know, those, you just wonder, that's a lot of cost for people, right?
Yeah, but they don't do it twice a
mean-
year, but they can do it once a year. Right? You
Right.
know, And I think. there
But,
is
but
a-
they'll have one of these conditions though,
Yeah,
is the point.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, I do it twice a year, but I can see how, I know what the bill's like and I go, it's a lot of money.
There's some guys that come around with mattresses that will cut them down because they're after the coconuts.
Oh, yeah.
Well, why don't we, can we get their
Some of those
names?
guys to
Are
come
they
in.
insured?
Probably not. They have mattresses and hard hats, yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you for everyone's comments there. Commissioner comments. I'd just like to add a couple. I think we learned something today on the first application, this road behind here on the north side on Harbor Island here, and that the road is, what's the name of the road again, please?
Thompson.
Thompson, and then, this rock seawall needs to be investigated further. I mean, I think, I don't know if the commission needs to look at it or somebody needs to look at this whole thing. And when I've heard that no one's looked at it, it's kind of interesting. Sure.
So I'm not really sure what your condition was for that property for the approval. I got a
We
little
didn't make any
confused.
condition relative to that.
Yeah, no, so I think like the steps in the right of way. So look at it like it's on the ocean, right?
Yeah.
So the ocean has a seawall.
Yeah.
There's sand, but it has a seawall.
Yeah.
So if they bring their retaining wall up to seawall level, I don't think there'll be a problem. It's as if like they have their own seawall on that area.
Yeah, the retaining wall on the north side.
Yeah, but they put a wall there, but it doesn't really say the height and they still have the stairs. So they didn't really look at that.
Right.
They didn't provide an
They wanted
updated civil
access to their
plan.
boat dock.
No, well, that's on the other side.
Yeah, on
So,
the side.
So they probably just want to drain into it, right?
but I'm just saying that they need a wall that's at 5, like acting as a seawall.
Yes. on the
in their
north side,
back.
They need see that new property line, they need a wall.
They need a wall.
I'm saying across here that
But-
acts as the seawall.
Acts as
But
a-
doesn't our seawall ordinance make them have to have a return?
Not
15 feet?
when they don't own the property.
Yeah, sure, when you
Yeah.
replace your seawall, we
Yeah.
did it in our seawall ordinance. It
No,
has
no,
to have
they-
a return, right?
To the neighboring property.
the neighboring
I don't know if
property.
this is a different
Just a
circumstance.
different circumstance, because this neighboring property is just a
Right away.
right of way.
But I think we should make them have their,
Return.
no, the
No, the
retaining wall
property.
as a seawall.
The property.
And then that's what he was saying, then we wouldn't need steps because we're bringing it all up.
Yes, yes.
But I just feel like, I don't know if that was said in the approval.
I did not have it in my motion.
No, I didn't understand, we saw, so I just think my comments, someone should figure, we should talk about this more. And the other thing
I
is.
don't think it'll be a problem if they have a retaining wall too
But I'm
high
just saying-
that acts as a seawall.
But who repairs it if that area gets damaged?
I would refer to the
Christie, is it still under the
Public Works
town's,
Department.
the town's,
It's,
they have an obligation to maintain and repair that?
I would
it's within the
assume.
town's control,
Yeah.
as all right of way is, even undeveloped right of way. The town doesn't own it, but obviously if it starts to deteriorate and become a problem for that property owner, I would assume the town might look into it to see what needs to happen there
I
too.
would like to have said today, hey, listen, property owner, you have to be responsible for that. right?
No, there's so
And
much.
I know
that
that's
can
not
say-
maybe fair, but
Yeah,
you
like
know.
how
Does your comment have to do with the integrity of their property, the applicant's property?
Yes,
Yeah.
because if they were
Well,
so low.
Yeah, but they'll figure that out on their own. It's not,
I think
what do we care? I don't
You would
mean to
hope
be
they
that
figure-
way.
I think she's saying, you hope they
If
figure
they
it
Yeah, I
out.
mean, it's not, if they get erosion on the side of their house, I'm sure they're gonna,
Yeah, fix it.
Well,
fix
I
it.
mean, they didn't even submit an
They
updated
didn't-
plan, so.
but my point is that, you know, I don't know how many millions they're spending on this. And if they start to see some erosion, they're probably gonna come back and want to get approved the retaining wall there, be my guess, but.
Or whatever. So that's an item. The other thing is that, you know, we traded off again, the easement for the drainage for additional, you know, FAR, right?
So that's nothing to do with those steps.
I understand that.
That was my,
I'm gonna step it back. That,
Okay.
we talk at a bigger level, what are we doing here throughout the town with all these easements that they're really, Christie, they're not, in many cases, they're not documented, right? They're just in place easements,
they're unrecorded.
unrecorded.
Well, they're not
easements, right?
easements.
They're
They're
not
just,
easements. Good.
they're not easements.
they're
What's
just-
that?
yeah, we put the town put a
Yes,
pipe in.
somebody
4
put a
years
pipe.
ago, and there's nothing to,
Yes.
That's one of the problems. Yeah.
well, we gotta address that problem too. We started
Yeah.
looking at it, we need to address that too.
I
But-
think the favor of the bar should not give them more to go outside of other codes. You know, what I like with the steps.
I agree with you. That's kind of weird too. I
Yeah.
thought, yeah, okay. Okay, anything else?
I was just curious, when, at our last meeting, we had a presentation from, the representative from 6855 North Ocean, that they wanted to make modifications to
Kelly
the
reached
building.
out to them and they said they weren't ready, Kelly?
Yeah, I put that in the email to you with the.
I'm sorry.
I had reached out to them saying, hey, I don't have anything yet. Are you still coming? They said that they wanted to work on a few more things and come back to our February meeting.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I'd like to adjourn the, planning and zoning January 20th, 2026. Have a great day.